Fletch here again, my kings and queens. Welcome back to the Cypher, where we unravel truths locked away by time. The Cypher. I told you we'd dive deeper into what sparked the downfall of Black Wall Street. It all started right here, in the Drexel building, where a young black teen named Dick Rowland went into work in downtown Tulsa on May 30th, 1921. This is how it went down. Rowland hops into an elevator that's being run by Little Miss Sarah Page, a young white woman. Something happened. Page screamed, Rowland ran, and the cops were called. So, the next morning, police found and arrested Rowland. And so, rumors started floating around White Tulsa about how the police had just arrested a black man for raping a white woman in an elevator. To add insult to injury, the Tulsa Tribune ran a story that afternoon that reported that the police had arrested Rowland for sexually assaulting Page. On the evening of the 30th, an angry white mob came to the courthouse and demanded that the sheriff hand Rowland over to them. This wasn't uncommon. There are actually reports of them doing this with white criminals as well. Mob justice was apparently the law of the land in Tulsa. It should be noted that Sheriff Willard McCullough refused to hand Rowland over. Of course, the mob tries to break in, and surprisingly, the sheriff and his men barricaded the top floor to keep them out. Good job, law enforcement. You did your job. Good job. 9 p.m. rolls around, and 25 armed black men roll up. A bunch of them were World War I vets. They offered to help guard Rowland, but Sheriff McCullough turned them away. I guess I can understand that. He seemed like a pretty good guy, and I can understand his reasoning, not trying to start a race war and all. So the 25 vets back off, until they started hearing rumors of a possible lynching. So these brothers roll back up with about 75 strong, armed and ready. Get this, this was only an hour later, and they were met with over 1,500 white men, some with weapons. This wasn't like those tiki torch bearing rioters that we've seen recently. Not to say that those wannabe white supremacists aren't bad enough. These guys were out for blood. Rowland's blood. All because of a rumor about a possible sexual assault. 75 versus 1,500. Shots rang out. The 75 retreated, and that was how it all began. It started with the white mob committing random acts of violence in Greenwood. The first of the worst was a shooting of an unarmed black man in a movie theater. 100 years later, and we still can't get away from that happening. The mob took a turn for the worse when another rumor began circulating within the group. They somehow came to the conclusion that a large-scale incursion of black Tulsans, aided by other close-by cities with large black populations, was about to happen. So the mob took the crazy and turned it all the way up. Throughout the night and into the morning, the mob burned and looted homes and businesses over the 35-block area of Greenwood. Even when the firefighters showed up to put out the fires, they threatened to kill them if they wouldn't leave. According to the Red Cross, over 1,200 homes were burned, over 200 were looted, 2 newspapers, a school, a library, a hospital, many churches, hotels, and stores were damaged by fire. Oh, and guess what? The National Guard arrived a little bit before noon when the riot had pretty much ended. And here's the real kicker. It doesn't say how many, but many black Tulsans were imprisoned by June 2nd. I think that's the biggest insult to injury. The fact that there weren't even that many Greenwood residents left, and those that were ended up in jail. Quick side note, Dick Rowland had all charges against him drop after the riot ended. There was some speculation as to what actually happened in the elevator. People say that the elevator was known for not stopping quite level with the floors. People think that the boy may have tripped and either fell against Page or stepped on her foot or something like that. Even the sheriff figured that whatever happened probably wasn't intentional. A mistake led to a rumor, led to a false story that led to a deadly massacre. Why do I keep saying massacre? Here are the facts. After the riot, there were around 300 Greenwood residents left dead and buried in unmarked graves. More than 8,000 residents of Greenwood, when the population was about 10,000, were made homeless after this 18-hour riot. Obviously, the people of Tulsa were looking for any kind of excuse to take down Greenwood, but still, this is what sparked the event that crushed such a beautiful community? Now hear this, Greenwood's Black Wall Street was resilient. They tried to pull themselves together, a real up from the ashes, birth of a phoenix kind of story. By 1922, more than 80 businesses were up and running again. Black Wall Street looked like it might make a comeback. But something even better was on the rise. The civil rights movement and push for desegregation was making headway. Soon after that, there were many more options available to Black America. So even still, from the ashes, the people rose. And still we rise, right? Sometimes unlocking the truths of our history can be a beautiful thing. Sometimes it can be painful. Thanks for tuning in to The Cypher. I'm your host, Fletch. Remember to click subscribe to get the real on history. Drop us a comment and let us know your thoughts. See you next time, my kings and queens.